Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Bobson Rants while playing Team Fortress 2 badly. Haha. So, what is it I want to talk about this week? Well, I'm not really sure. Didn't really have anything planned for this week. I didn't have anything going on. Nothing's really been happening other than me playing World of Warcraft for the past 2 weeks straight. Which was obviously going to happen. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been putting out a video every single day. So that's basically all I've really been doing aside from recording my other stuff, because I have been putting out other stuff. My Shopkeep and Don't Starve videos are still going out there, so yeah. But basically all I've been doing is playing World of Warcraft, and I haven't really had much time to really stop and think about anything I want to really talk about or rant about in these videos. So yeah, I don't know. Well, there was something I happened during one of my videos, World of Warcraft videos that happened like last week or so, and it was about me talking about the fact that one of the characters I encountered, and the fact that I could have like these little minion pets, basically like Pokemon stuff, little non-combat pets, and basically one of them was an intelligent thinking little guy who was basically an orphan that I adopted. Now, that in and of itself is weird, but the fact that you can use this little orphan in what amounts to Pokemon battles in the game was even weirder. And that was a weird thing. It really struck me as odd, and I had never really thought about it before until I actually looked through my pets and realized I had this little orphan Wolvar cup, little intelligent badger guy. And he could talk, he was wearing clothes, and yeah, I just adopted him, and he's now a battle pet. Basically a Pokemon. And so yeah, maybe that's something I could talk about, how weird that is. I mean, not just the concept of that in and of itself, but Pokemon itself is a weird concept. Because in the cartoon, in the show, the Pokemon are intelligent. I mean, yes, they can only say their own names in English or whatever language they speak in the universe of the Pokemon. Is it Japanese that they're supposed to be speaking? I mean, I don't know. That's one of the weird things you have with cartoons and like that. They can be speaking random languages, but it's always translated for the audience to understand. So, yeah. But Pokemon is one of those things. All the characters, all the Pokemon themselves, are intelligent thinking creatures. They can talk. They can actually hold a conversation with each other and with their trainers and like that. So they are intelligent creatures, and yet here you have these 10, 12-year-old kids going out into the woods with their own pet Pokemon, attacking random Pokemon in the wild and capturing them, beating them into submission, forcing them into a Pokeball, and using them to fight other Pokemon for their own pleasure and personal gain. I mean, that's the entire concept of Pokemon. You're going out and capturing intelligent, thinking creatures and using them for combat purposes. What the hell? It's just an odd concept when you really stop and think about it and analyze it on a real intelligent level. But yeah, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with cartoons before, with adult cartoons versus kids cartoons. Because when you're a kid and you're watching Pokemon or playing the Pokemon games, you don't really think about it like this. You're just out there fighting monsters and capturing them and collecting all of them. You don't really stop and think about the moral or ethical implications of what you're actually doing in the game or what's happening on the cartoon or any of that. You're just having fun fighting the monsters and watching Ash fighting monsters and catching and failing horribly and being a complete idiot on the cartoon. And yeah, you don't really stop and think about it. But when you get to be an adult, you actually have an analytical mind. You actually start thinking about it. You start looking at it and analyzing it in a realistic way, which is far more than the actual writers did. Because they're not writing it for adults, they're writing it for kids. They're writing it to be simple, straightforward stories that the kids can understand and enjoy. But when you look at it as an adult, you see these kind of things. You see the fact that you're basically taking these intelligent creatures from their natural habitat and kidnapping them. You're beating them into submission, kidnapping them, and using them in gladiatorial arenas to win prizes. I mean, that's just so weird. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's just got me thinking about that kind of stuff. I mean, I wonder what would happen if we actually had, like, intelligent animals. I mean, we do have intelligent animals, arguably. I mean, scientists have discovered and done studies to see that stuff like chimpanzees have the intelligence of a small child when it comes to reasoning skills and basic intelligence. They do have that level of intelligence, and as well as dolphins, and arguably pigs have a certain level of intelligence. It's been shown in studies that they've actually be more intelligent than dogs. So yeah, we do have intelligent animals, but when I say that, I mean, what about an actually human level intelligent animal like Pokemon? Because there's a possibility that it could happen someday. I mean, with genetic manipulation, genetic engineering, you could have an animal that has been genetically modified to increase its intelligence, to allow it to think, to maybe even speak. I hate to use the word furries, but basically furries. That's the only thing I could really equate it to. Like anthropomorphized animals that are walking, talking, werewolf style, size, build, and able to really walk around and talk in an intelligent manner. I mean, I could see that happening. Hell, I guarantee you there have been scientists in the past who have tried to do it, and it would surprise me if there were not scientists at least theorizing about it today. I doubt they would ever make their studies public, and if they actually went through with any experiments, I highly doubt they would actually release those results to the public, as it would cause a massive shitstorm because of moral and ethical concerns. I mean, this kind of thing, genetic engineering, and is already happening in small scale with genetically modified corn and other plant life, where they basically take one gene, add it into the makeup of a particular plant just to make it more resistant to disease or infestation with random insects that's harmful. I mean, that's the whole idea with genetically modified corn. They've done that to increase yield, to make it hardier, make it drought resistant, make it infestation resistant, so it doesn't need as many chemicals, as many pesticides on it. So that's already happening in a small scale. So what would happen if some scientist somewhere in some country other than the United States, where the laws regarding the genetic manipulation of animals, or more accurately the crossbreeding of animals and human genetics, maybe splicing would be a better term than crossbreeding, because that's not a mental image I want to have in my head, but splicing human genetics with animals in order to create a semi-intelligent or intelligent species of spliced entity, a new creature, like an intelligent dog that's capable of speech, or at least more capable of understanding commands and human speech and understanding what people are saying and actually following orders and following commands. I mean, that would be interesting. That would be kind of useful, actually. I mean, as a seeing eye dog, that would be incredibly valuable. I mean, imagine having a seeing eye dog that could completely understand English, that could remember geographical locations. A blind person saying, "Hey, Rex, take me to the coffee shop." And Rex would understand every word he just said. He would remember from the last time they went to the coffee shop, and he would take him right there. No worries. That would be a brilliant use of this technology. That would be a brilliant use of cross-genetic manipulation, creating a dog that would be capable of doing something like that. That would be beautiful. But in all reality, it would breed so many other problems, so many things that I'm just not really sure what to say about. There would be huge moral implications, ethical implications. I mean, you would be creating an intelligent species, an entirely new genetically engineered intelligent species. What would the moral and ethical uh, responsibility be towards that species? I mean, this is a thinking, intelligent creature, capable of understanding, capable of thought, capable of intelligent, reasonable thought. Would they still be considered animals? Would they still be considered pets or property? Would they be given equal rights? I'm sure there would be people pushing for that, but what is the legality of such a thing? I mean, if you had an animal that had the same level of intelligence as a human, that could reason, that could think, that could have an intelligent conversation with you on the same level, what would the moral and ethical responsibility towards that creature be? I mean, there's already people like PETA who are pushing for more animals to have more rights and equal treatment and more responsibility towards the animals that already exist. So, yeah, there would be a huge movement if anything like that ever happened. But yeah, this has always been kind of a plot point of science fiction and horror and fantasy stuff. I mean, I remember a movie. What was it? What was the name of that movie? It was Marlon Brando in it, and I think it was even a remake. Island of Dr. Moreau. I think that was the name of it. Island of Dr. Moreau. He was basically this geneticist, this crazy geneticist who had his own island paradise, and he used that island paradise, his vast wealth, his knowledge of genetic manipulation, to create human-animal hybrids. Basically animals that had physical appearance of humans, that had the intelligence and reason of humans, but at the same time they still had some of the ingrained instinctual behaviors and mannerisms of the animals they had been genetically manipulated from. So it was actually a pretty good movie. I liked the movie. Granted, it wasn't Marlon Brando's best movie ever. It was actually pretty good. It had Fruza Balk in it, so that was okay. I liked her. I have always liked her for some reason. I don't know. Fruza Balk. That's her name, isn't it? I never remember if I'm pronouncing that right. I really hope I am, because I like her. But yeah, that's the entire premise of the movie. He's this crazy scientist on an island who just genetically engineers animals and humans together. Actually, genetically splices animals with human DNA to create these genetic monstrosities, I guess, which eventually lead to a massive revolt against him and his eventual death at the hands of his own creations. So, yeah. And that's an entirely other side to the story. If we were to create a race of genetically engineered animals with human intelligence, what would happen to us? What would happen to them, actually? I don't know. But I don't know, it just got me thinking about that. Just a random little event in World of Warcraft got me thinking about this. I don't know why. It's fairly stupid. It's just pure, weird science fiction kind of thing. I don't know if it could even be possible, but I guarantee you there are scientists out there who have done the research to see if it could be possible with current technology. And there might actually be some weird scientist out there living out a fantasy world where he's trying to actually do this. Who knows? Some weird, crazy scientist on an island somewhere in the Caribbean trying to crossbreed animals and human genetics. Who knows? It could happen. It could happen at some point as our knowledge of the genetic structure of humans as well as animals marches forward. It could in fact happen at some point. And that would be a very weird day. And it would be a day we would have to actually have a serious conversation, have a serious thought about what that would actually mean for humanity. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just a weird thought I had one day last week while I was recording and playing World of Warcraft, and had an odd thought about a little Wolvar guy I was carrying around as a pet. Anyway, I think that's enough for me for this week. So anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Bobson. This has been another episode of Bobson Rants about random crap while playing Team Fortress 2 badly. So anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye.